Awesome. So our first guest, we'll jump in here, is Rachel Perkins. Rachel Perkins is a commercial producer. And she films commercials around the Los Angeles and actually globally, but the two big locations, as everyone knows, is Southern California and, of course, New York. With over 20 years of production experience, Rachel has worked with some of the top directors and production companies in the business. This type of production boot camp, as she likes to call it, has given her the skill set to create an energetic, solution-based environment toward all aspects of any size project and budget. When she's not making movie magic or making movie magic producing, you can find her on a racetrack or honing in her listening skills, improving it to the Upright Citizens Brigade. And not only is she an awesome producer, but she's also my sister, in case anyone's wondering if we make any inside jokes and you're like, how do these two know each other? Rachel's also my wonderful sister that we haven't been able to see thanks to this pandemic. So welcome to the show, Rachel.
Hi. Thank
you. Hey, it's like virtually seeing you. It's like a family reunion, but yay. But so how have you been during this pandemic? She's frozen.
Riding the roller coaster. Yeah, it's a roller coaster. It's riding the waves of the ocean. It's highs, it's lows. But it's really been abundant and rich. Like, I'm really trying to see the gifts, because I think that when we come out of this, if we utilize our time, we are going to be better because of it, because there's nowhere to go. I've got to sit with myself. That's actually a gift, even though I'd rather go, hang out.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your industry. A lot of people are talking about the restaurant industry and retail, right? I led with that today, talking about the number of job losses and how hard the retail sector is taking this, with J. Crew just declaring bankruptcy this morning. But your field also has a lot of, it's been deeply affected. People aren't filming commercials right now. I know you and I spoke about this, and you shared that there's some people filming commercials in their house. But those certainly aren't going to be the commercials that we'll see making a lot of mainstream TV. How does this truly affect your industry? Like, how have you seen it suffer? You guys go from handling projects to now nothing. You all have a lot of spare time. How have you seen it? First off, like, what's your first experience? Didn't you do a commercial for March Madness?
I did. Yeah, I did a Nissan campaign in January. We shot 5 days. It was an awesome campaign. I was super excited. My grandmother and grandfather went to KU, and we got to shoot at USC, not KU, but with the actual KU mascot, the Jayhawk, and the cheerleaders. So it was gonna be phenomenal. It was a really, really fun campaign. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not going to air because there was no March Madness.
True. So Rachel, break that down for folks at home, because people don't realize it. So you film a commercial. Obviously, people get paid to do that, and you hire actors. And so you guys get paid, but actors, they're on a different level when it comes to what they're getting and how they're taken care of. So I've heard somewhere that actors actually get paid on residuals on how the commercial performs. So obviously, being Nissan, who is a top tier sponsor for March Madness and other commercials that were also made for this, those actors actually lost out on a healthy chunk of money that they're probably used to making for doing these big commercials.
Yeah, they do get residuals. They get residuals for how often it's aired. So every time it's aired, they get a certain amount of money. And that depends on how many times it's aired. It could be up to $20,000. It's a lot of money that, the actor will not be getting since it's not airing. And they know that going into it. But unfortunately, due to the COVID, this Nissan commercials usually do air. And so it is, it's people do make it. There are commercial TV actors that's where they make their living. So it does impact them. And that's union. Non-union has different agreements, but union, SAG, AFTRA actors get residuals.
That's the crazy side of this that people aren't talking about. So that bleeds out down the way, and it's not just producers not getting paid and directors, but there's a lot of people who end up on a set for filming a commercial that we're so used to seeing on our TVs everywhere we go. So let me ask you this. Are you hearing anything out there? I know that you do a lot of freelance work, and I looked into it, and there's a lot of people who are considered freelancers. I mean, what are you hearing out there? Are we anywhere closer to start filming commercials, or are we? I mean, California is a big state. Obviously, we could film commercials in other parts of the state of California, just like there's other places in the country that are opening up. Texas is pretty much wide open right now, and other states. What are you hearing out there? How are we going to make commercials?
Yeah, it's really tricky. There's not, a one size fits all answer, and it changes daily. As of right now, I mean, it'll probably be tiered out. And so maybe they'll allow permits for a crew of 10 people or less. Then it'll go up to 25 or less. Just to give you an example, the Nissan job that I did for March Madness when we shot at USC, there were about 250 people all in. That's crew, that's security, that's agency, that's client, that's talent, that's any of the USC staff. I mean, there's a lot that goes into big commercials. So it really is impacting us, and the amount of work. All those people are getting paid for that day. So unfortunately, it's a challenging time, and everybody is trying to come up with great solutions to get us back out there and get us back to work. But it will be a rollout because there are just so many people, and we do work in intimate environments where it's high intensity. We're up against the gun. We're trying to stay on time. Kind of like a live show, except it's not live, but it's all those same things. So I'm sure you would understand the pressure. But yeah, it's I'm just not sure when. It just depends on when. It's up to Gavin Newsom and for California really, and New York, Governor Cuomo. So I think that it's just a wait and see. Unfortunately, I wish there was an answer and an easy answer. I know in certain places in the country they've allowed filming again. And some of the things that they've been discussing, some of my colleagues have been discussing, is ways that we can, come up with kind of guidelines until maybe OSHA gets involved or a government agency that comes in and tells us how to do it. And for commercials, it's not a governing body. It's an association because we're all independent producers. So for the production company owners, I'm not an owner. I get contracted by the production company when the project is awarded. And so they've come out with these amazing, just guidelines as a starting point. Again, it's changing every day as, we learn more and more about this virus.
Perfect. That's a great answer. A lot of insight. It's good to see that we are starting to get things back to normal. I know that we're still not cutting it close yet for the fall season, which is crazy to say in May, but I know you guys film. I know it's changed a lot since they probably used to film Super Bowl commercials a lot earlier, but now I know they can do them in the fall without any issues. So let me ask you this before we go. We got about 2 minutes left here. What have you been doing to stay? It's a question I keep asking everybody, especially in jobs that they're used to going to and doing. Suddenly have a lot of extra time on your hands. What are you doing to stay sane and continue, instead of, like I always like saying, discipline over distraction? How are you staying focused?
Yeah, I mean, I have like 75 things I want to share about this because I've had a lot of free time, I have to tell you. Some of the things, one, Handel Group, it's my Lauren Zander founded the Handel Group with her sister, Beth. And it's been taught the method at their coaching company, and they've taught the method at Stanford and MIT, and they do free calls. So I am plugging them because it saved my butt, like really. Just kind of getting out of my own way, not using the virus as an excuse to not show up for my life. And obviously I'm a human. I have feelings around all of this that I do need to work through. But it's really just about showing up, and it's like, okay, well, I don't need to shut down. I can be proactive. I can set a schedule. I can design my life. That's what they talk about. So, I've been designing my life, and it's been really, getting up and meditating, going for a run, and keeping it simple. Some days I just run for 20 minutes just so I can move my body. I want to plug also SkyTing Yoga in New York because they've been giving free classes live stream. I'm not working. It's donation based. So I make a donation, and that's awesome. And New York is like my home. So I love those teachers there. I know them. So that's been a gift. The sweatshop, Ryan Heffington does Instagram Live. He does these dance classes. Look him up. The energy of that, it just keeps me light and happy and laughing and in my body. And, those are the things that we can do. And, honestly, being of service, I don't have kids in the household, and I don't have people over 60 in my household. So I'm going to go volunteer. I'm actually going today. Sean Penn started a nonprofit called CORE, and they're part of the plan to get to filming, because I want to be part of the solution. is getting everybody tested in LA, and they're offering free testing at these drive-through testing sites. So I'm going to go today for a training session and make sure it's a good fit for me. But I think I'm going to start, volunteering, because they need volunteers. So if anybody needs something to do and you're in the LA area, coreresponse.org, and it will get the city going faster. And that's what we want. We all want solutions, and we want to get back to work. We want to get back to seeing, our friends, and it will be different. It's going to look different. And I'm okay keeping 6 feet, until I don't have to. Maybe it'll go back down. Maybe it'll go down to 2 feet, fingers crossed. But those are some of the things I'm doing. And seeing my family, like, thank God for you and mom and dad, and my siblings. It's like and all my friends, it's like without Zoom, I don't know what I would have done. So yeah, there's a lot of good.
Absolutely. And, I want to thank you for coming on. If folks want to reach out to Rachel, follow her on social media. She travels the world when she is working. She's just an amazing photographer on the side, too. You get to see that. So you go check out her website to learn more about and the projects that Rachel's worked on. And you can also find her on Instagram at Rachel Photo with FOTO1. There it is on the screen for you. So, Rach, I thank you so much for being our first guest today. Thank you for waiting. I love you, and be safe.
Love you. Thanks for having me.
No problem.